Hey folks, you've made it to Chill Mini Painting, where you can relax and enjoy a quick speed paint of this mysterious dwarven dungeon delver. We are painting this mini SLAPCHOP style with a white dry brushed over a base coat of black and with a glossy finish to bring it all together at the end. Let's chill and paint. Here on Chill Mini Painting, we have been pretty much exclusively using the SLAPCHOP method of painting miniatures. It has been all the rage on YouTube, and I was eager to try it out at the end of 2023. It quickly became my go-to painting technique with Army Painter 2.0 speed paint, replacing acrylic painting. SLAPCHOP is an awesome way of painting miniatures. It's quick, easy, and fun. Today, I have another model from the starter pack of the Artisan Guild. You can follow along with all the colors I use in this paint with the timestamps. On the surface, the model looks pretty simple, but I used a lot more colors than I normally do. Stay tuned to the end for an awesome final result, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to keep up. For the cloak, I went with some Desolate Brown, which ironically comes out of the bottle looking more like an olive green. I thinned it down with some speed paint medium to give the highlights from the dry brush a better opportunity to shine through the color. When I paint in this SLAPCHOP style, I almost always thin down any browns, bright blues, reds, or greens. These paints are stuffed with pigment, and it can cover up all the nice dry brushing we do in the base coat. On this dwarf, the color in the beard, the cloak, and the pants have been thinned down with the speed paint medium, and the highlights are shining through better for it. Now, even though I love SLAPCHOP, I have to admit it comes with some drawbacks. Despite all my efforts, I've been having a tough time creating the amount of contrast that I like in my minis. I'm the kind of guy who loves bright, shiny minis with a lot of interesting color elements. Drop your tips for creating contrast in the comments. I would love to see them. So I ended up using all three metallic speed paints that come in the 50 paint set. The Broadsword Silver is mixed with a little Tyrian Navy to take it from a bright and shiny silver to a dull, dark iron color. All the leather on the model is aged hide, and while it looks really red as it goes on, when it dries, more of the brown comes out. In a previous series, painting a D&D party, I wanted to go for a dark, gritty, ragtag group that lives day to day in the forest. That meant using a lot of browns, rusty metals, dark greens, and while I do really love the results, I would say that a lot of the colors, especially the leathers, blended together, and I had trouble finding solid contrast while staying within the overall color scheme. This aged hide helped me with that a little bit. I used warrior skin for the brown and the beard. I wanted something light brown to not age the dwarf too much. And again, it's thinned down with the medium so it looks nice and light on the model. Now, even if you do thin down paint and you find that it's a little too thin for your liking, You can always just add a second coat, like I did here, to lighten it up. The skin color is a combination of Zealot yellow and Peachy flesh. It is a bit of an experiment and an attempt to find a light skin tone to make this dwarf look like he barely sees the sun. The result is a little yellowy, and I end up putting a second coat on with a little less yellow. And while it looks a touch silly now, it comes together well in the final product. Here is some Pallid Bone on some details like the sacks and the scroll poking out of the backpack. Pallid Bone is awesome, and you're not using enough on your models. For the Talos bronze, just like the silver, I added another color to cut down on the shininess and make it a bit more matte. In this case, it's mixed with equal parts Ruddy fur. For the lantern, or any lighting detail on my models, it's one of the rare occasions when speed paint doesn't really get the job done, and I want something opaque. So I went with a moon dust acrylic, trying my best to get some nice clean lines. To finish up the paint job, we just have to pick out some fine detail on the back, things like the arrows and the potions on the backpack. This is where I get to splash this little guy with some bright accent colors. Typically, I would thin down these reds and greens, but since I'm covering up such small areas, I'm keeping them fully saturated so they pop as much as possible. My tip for these tight spots with speed paint is to take care of how much speed paint is on the brush. Try to get as little paint in the brush as possible so that when the brush touches the miniature, speed paint doesn't go running anywhere. Think of it almost like you're tinting the model with a little coat of paint. Now, I've been looking for techniques to level up my SLAPCHOP and create more contrast, and I think I have stumbled upon a solution. Just a quick coat of clear, glossy polish on top of the speed paint has an incredible effect. For this model, I'm using nail polish. I first used the Glossy Finish in my most recent video, a bathtub mimic, and I had to try it on this model as well, and the results are game-changing. But don't take my word for it, you can take a look for yourself. Let's take a look at the final product, first without the top coat. All in all, it's a great paint. I managed to color inside the lines for the arrows and the potions, and I think the color choices are spot on. But take a look at what happens when you add a clear, glossy finish. Look how all of the colors get clearer and more defined, and the edges and highlights catch the light. The whole mini just pops like crazy, and the contrast that I've been craving gets cranked all the way up. It almost looks like this mini belongs in a comic book with a great shimmer and vibrant colors. The top coat also actually makes the minis nicer to handle. They feel soft on your fingers, and it doesn't feel like a sweaty palm could rub off some of the paint. Now, I do think it's a choice, and some folks might not like how this mini catches the light and shines. They could say it lacks realism perhaps, but I love it. It's exactly the kind of effect that SLAPCHOP is missing, and this will be my go-to finish for speed paint moving forward. When my minis hit the table, I want them to be bright and vibrant like this. So as always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you would like to see next time.